Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is TweaK here, and today I'm going to talk about some of the things that I would really like to see in point 12. Fingers crossed. We do know some things that are coming to point 12, but other things are off in the shadowy depths of, rumor mill and Reddit threads and YouTube videos and shit like that. So I just kind of want to come out, talk about some things that I would really like to see in point 12. Now, so I have a list in front of me. I have a list in front of me that I want to go over. But there's one thing that I'm going to talk about first. All right. It's just this point here. I have it like halfway down the list. I want to talk about this first. They need to rebalance the loot on every single map in the game. Right now, all everybody does to make money is labs when it's not infested with cheaters and shoreline. That's pretty much what people do for money. Okay. The only reason that most people play, let's say, customs, woods, Interchange. Well, Interchange is pretty good for loot too, and it's pretty good for PvP as well. So Interchange is kind of on the line there. Let's maybe leave Interchange out of it. But besides my point, Factory as well. Like the only reason people are playing Factory these days is pretty much just for the tasks that are on Factory. They need to shift attention from labs as being the ultimate moneymaker, whether you're doing hatchet runs, because believe it or not, you can make profit on labs doing hatchet runs. You can go in there with an empty gamma. You can run along the show floor. If you find one high value item, like a vertex or what are they called? CFDM or COFDM transmitters, LEDXs, all that other shit. You find one. You have paid for your key card and profit to boot. You can also hatchet run straight to the arsenal room with an empty gamma if you have the red key card. You can also hatchet run straight to the med bay. And you might end up making your money back in the med bay. I've seen people do hatchet runs to the med bay. I don't understand. Maybe they were just starting there and I caught them when they were like mid-act, like a scared cat. Like, you caught them when they were licking their balls or something. But yeah, other maps need to be rebalanced. Customs, like, great idea. Let's add a big empty section to the map that no one will ever use. We'll put one key spawn there. That key was worth 20 mil last patch. It's worth fucking 10k now because of how like common it is to find it, because you spawn right next to it on customs in some cases. That big empty expansion to customs is only added to the fact that there is absolutely nothing worthwhile looting on that map. There is so much potential on customs. Look at dorms. There is arguably one room on dorms that anyone really gives a shit about. There is one other room on dorms that spawns what? It has a chance at spawning an M4, right? Like, if you say you go to dorms, you loot all those rooms that are locked and no one gives a shit about the keys, they're all worth 2k on the flea market, like, you're lying. Nobody loots, nobody goes to dorms for money. You go to dorms for two things. You go there for marked room, or you go there to see if the scab boss is there. If the scab boss isn't there, you check the marked room. If the marked room hasn't already been hit by a hatchet, you go in there, you get one, PST GZH round on the floor. They need to buff the loot on customs. I don't know how they're going to do that. I would just say make the keys for every other room rarer instead of finding them in every single scab backpack you search. Make them rare and make them have actual good stuff in there. Because like most of the rooms are trash. There's absolutely nothing in most of those rooms. At least that's worth, taking up space in your bag. Also, a lot of the factory buildings, some of those could be opened up. You could put some other things in there. We could have maybe a weapons cache that was taken over by the scavs or the raiders or something as a break point between where they are on customs to when they're going to labs. So that could be pretty cool. On Woods is just a big wide open map that everybody goes on right now to circle jerk each other with Mosins and do sniper tasks. That is 99% of Woods raids. Woods before used to be one of the most active PvP maps there was, like high level PvP maps there was. Now it's just basically full of Mosins and snipers. Now, understandably so, it's a pretty good map for sniping and, doing all that shit. Like, it makes sense. But what I'm saying is if we could add some pretty cool high-ish loot spots that are maybe locked behind keys, or you need a key card to get into this underground bunker that has raiders in it or some other shit that we can go and loot, that would be amazing. That would be so cool. Interchange. The loot on Interchange is really, really good. Even without a need to buff it. But I feel like they need to change something. to make more players go there instead of labs. Like, Interchange isn't the worst. Customs and Woods are terrible. Factory is terrible right now as well. But you can't really do anything with Factory. Like, you can't add like a room. You know, you scan the card, you go in, there's shitloads of loot, and your extract's 10 seconds that way. You know what I mean? It's just not really what it's for. So Factory is kind of, you know, there's not really much you can do with it. Shoreline, the resort, obviously incredible for loot. Everywhere else on the map is pretty much trash. I wouldn't mind seeing some other buildings, some other things, some other structures just kind of around the place that we could go and explore. Maybe you could put some loot in there or something for us. Because that whole area between Road to Customs, up to the resort, down to the power plant, and then down to that roadblock to where you take the left to go down to the pier, that whole area is just barren. I feel like we could put some stuff there. You know, some buildings, you know, some other shit, you know, some stuff to go explore and stuff to see. It isn't just a big wide ass open field. I'd like to see that, but that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that topic. I would really like to see the loot be rebalanced on all these maps, and I would also like to see other just little touches added to them to kind of fill them out a little bit, because a lot of them, when you look at them for long enough, when you've played them for long enough, you kind of go, wow, this is just fucking barren. Like, a massive chunk of a lot of these maps are completely barren. So I'd really like to see that. My next point I would like to move on to, player scavs. Player scavs, can we stop spawning them in at the same time as PMCs? That'd be real cool. I know a lot of people have a problem with this, and I find it really, really annoying that player scavs can just spawn in at the same time as PMCs can. I don't want to have to worry about, like, going into a raid, going somewhere on my PMC with all my shitloads of gear, you know, whatever, and then there's just a player scav sitting in the most obscure spot you'd never ever expect anybody to be in, with their Hunter Vepr with M61s. Who the fuck thought it would be a good idea to give player scavs M61s? What the fuck were you thinking? I'm sorry, but yeah, as for me, that's just dude, that really rubs me the wrong way. I don't understand it. Because every other gun they have all has shit ammo, but it's like, no, you get the you get the Hunter Vepr, you get M61s, but you lie in a corner and just wait for half an hour. A geared PMC will eventually walk by you. But yeah, I would just like to see them spawn in later and do what they're supposed to do, which is scavenge. You know, go around, look for dead bodies, scavenge shit off their bodies and boogie out. You know, maybe you get lucky, you find somebody's ditched gear or whatever. But actually having player scavs spawning in like in the first 20 minutes of a raid is like really off-putting sometimes. It's ruined a lot of really cool like PvP encounters I've had. I know it's technically still PvP, but you know what I mean. With player scavs getting involved. Like, some people are into that. For me personally, I'm kind of I don't know. I'd like to see something change there. Obviously, I'm just going to get this out of the way real quick. Desync and stutters. Obviously, for point 12, we want to see that improve. You know, every patch we want to see that get improved. I'm not going to harp on about it. I can't be arsed. Everybody already knows what I'm going to say. Everybody knows. It's no big deal. We all know. Improved hyper-threading performance. This is something I was only introduced to yesterday with this pretty cool Reddit thread that somebody came out with. His name is TweaK. 12 days ago made a Reddit thread about how Tarkov doesn't really utilize hyper-threading all that well. And he has a little patch. I have another video that's going to be up on this. You can go watch it. I'm going to full credit the guy there. Link to the thread and all that other shit. It's really cool. It's like this little batch file that you run while Tarkov is open, and it basically disables hyperthreading. I noticed it like immediately when I disabled hyperthreading that the game actually ran better. Like, I probably got an increase of like 10 to 20 FPS, whereas the performance was dog shit for me before that. I also saw a pretty significant reduction in stutters, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that'd be pretty sick if we could get improved hyperthreading. I guess it would increase the performance fairly massively for a lot of us. So that's pretty cool. The Hideout, obviously. Now, the Hideout has been, you know, there's been a lot of debate about it, and there's been a lot of like, oh, what's it going to be? What are we going to be able to do? And all this other shit. The Hideout, I really hope is like a massive grind to get it all maxed out. Like, I want it to take a while. I want to have to go collect a bunch of shit, you know, to level it up. And maybe there's quest lines attached to it, you know, in order to unlock new things for your hideout. You know, all the different traders all have different shit that you have to do to max out your hideout and stuff like that. I'd really like to see something cool like that. Like, we can get really in depth. We can customize the shit out of it. We can do all this different crap with it. That would be really cool. It would keep a lot of people interested until we get it maxed out. And, you know, it could be a cool way to passively earn money depending on how much you're investing into it and all that other kind of stuff. Being able to brew your own homemade meds or something, make your own homemade stimulants. In other words, drugs. We want to be able to make drugs. That would be cool. We could maybe sell them to Fence or something as part of a quest line. You know, brew your own drugs, give them to Fence. He sells them illegally or whatever. That'd be pretty sweet. So I'm hoping to see. I've got big expectations for the Hideout. I really do. It's been in development for a long time. There's been a lot of leaks here and there for what we're going to be able to do with it. Really, fingers crossed that Hideout's going to be pretty bitchin'. I want a bitchin' Hideout. I want to be able to have like a fucking, you know, a waterbed, you know, some bean bags, a couple of hookahs, you know, for when my homies come over, and all the bitches I'd be slaying, you know, coming back. You know, that's what I want to see in the Hideout. I want the Hideout to be cool. I want to be able to customize and do all this other gnarly shit with it. So yeah, that's what I want to see as far as hideouts go. Maps, obviously. Our next new map is Military Base. After that, I really want to see Streets of Tarkov. Streets of Tarkov, probably going to be very nice. Streets of Tarkov is a map that pretty much everybody wants. Everybody is nuts for Streets of Tarkov because I feel like it's going to be very different to everything we've had so far. You know, it's taking place in like a town. You know, you've got like the streets, you've got buildings, you've got, you know, stores and all this other different crap just around everywhere. It's going to be really cool. I hope it's really big too. I hope we're talking bigger than any other map we've seen. I'm not sure if they've ever said how big the map was going to be, but looking at Military Base, it's not that big. It looks to be a fairly average sized map, so I'm assuming that the next one, being Streets of Tarkov, is probably going to be pretty huge. So that should be pretty interesting. I'd like to see, you know, we're obviously getting Military Base at the start. I would like to see Streets of Tarkov at some point during 0.12. And that'll probably be all we get. Like 2 maps for a patch. One at the start, one halfway through or something would be pretty nice. And we've already talked about the rebalance to the loot on other maps. That's fine. Something else I would really like to see in 0.12. This is something we saw during the pre-wipe event for 0.12. Roaming raiders on every map. Why isn't this a thing? Why isn't this already in the game? It worked amazingly well when every single scav was a raider during that pre-patch event. It would make the game so much more fun. It would make it, you'd always be on alert because you never know when you might run into a group of raiders. Just spawn in a group of 4 or 5 raiders that just patrol the map. And just, they don't even have to be there every raid, but make them pretty common. Like, you know, a 60-70% chance that they'll be there. Maybe even a 50% chance that they'll be there. And they just wander around the map with just their usual, you know, lab shit. Nothing out of the ordinary. The lore behind it is, well, they're walking through woods now. They're going to make their way onto wherever the fuck else. And then they're going to move on to labs, you know. They were moving through all these locations, collecting supplies and bringing them back to their comrades in the labs. You know, maybe even like on the map before you get to Interchange. Whatever map is before Interchange, there might be a chance to encounter Killa. Maybe the raiders are escorting Killa to Interchange. Then he goes there, does his shit. Could be the same thing with Reshala. Maybe you have a chance to encounter Reshala, but not necessarily the other scav guards that are there. So it could be Reshala plus the scav raiders on that map, just all moving through together. Like, that'd be pretty sweet, I think. So I'd really like to see that. And it'd be something they could do now, and it would spice up the game again. It would make it a lot more fun. I'd really like to see that. So this is something that's been talked about for a long time now. The karma system and let's just say our player scav progression. I'm going to tie these two in together. I'm going to use it more. I kind of going to focus this more on the player scav side of things because I think we're a pretty long way away from actually having a valid karma system in place for bears versus USEX. So what I mean by that, for those of you that don't know, if you are killing other bears, you should receive negative karma. If you're killing other USEX as a USEC, you should receive negative karma. If you run into a bear in raid and you cooperate together and you end up killing other USEX or whatever, you don't lose any karma, and maybe the game recognizes that you did something together as a faction and you get positive karma. For, you know, to what end, like, you know, what are your rewards for this? I don't really know, but this is kind of the whole baseline for the karma system. The reason why this isn't really worth, nice voice crack, by the way. The reason why this isn't really worth talking about now is because we have to wait until VoIP is introduced. If VoIP was introduced now and it wasn't in the game, we could talk about it more. But because it's not in the game yet and will likely be in the game in 0.12, VoIP will first be introduced and then likely the karma system. So we're just going to have to kind of wait on that. So that's kind of an expectation I have for 0.12, that somewhere down along the line, we are going to get the karma system. We're going to potentially be able to have positive interactions with other players from the same faction that you don't know, that you'll be able to cooperate with and kill players of the opposing faction or scavengers and share loot and double your odds of surviving by having a 2-man group with you, or even a 3-man group. Maybe you recruit more people along the way. Maybe by the time you leave that raid, you've got 6 or 7 bears following you. Maybe, and you all just boogie out together and there you go. Like, that'd be pretty sweet. I think that'd be really cool. It would really change the dynamic of the entire game. Like, it would be game changing if people would follow it, or if the rewards were good enough to actually follow this karma system. And obviously the same thing would tie in as far as, player scavs. If you kill other scavs, you lose karma. Maybe your scav gets shitter gear. But what I would like to see for your player scav, just to encourage people to use them more. The more you use your player scav, the better gear that you get. So maybe instead of that dust coverless AK fucking 209 VPO or whatever that you're not going to be able to kill anything with, will eventually become, an AK, a 209 VPO with a dust cover, a stock, a handguard. Maybe it has a break on the end of it. Maybe it has a PK06 on a TT10K rail or something. It doesn't necessarily have to be that gun, obviously. It could just be a Vepr, or it could be, I don't know, like an SKS. You start with a box standard SKS. Maybe once you have them leveled up, maybe you get a Tapco SKS with a PSO on it, with a suppressor. Maybe you get better ammo or something. Just as a reward for not killing other scavs, other player scavs, cooperating with these people and trying to kill PMCs. So I know I'm kind of contradicting myself here with the point I made earlier about being killed by player scavs in raid. As long as, they spawn in later, I don't really have a problem with this. This is fine. Also, I would like to see a reward for consistently not killing other scavs to take their loot and leave the raid, and only focusing on looting and killing PMCs. To level up your scav, you should eventually be able to unlock a raid on labs. So you can take your scav to labs. Maybe you can only do this like once every couple of days, once you've done enough positive karma shit with your scavs. Guess what? You get to go into labs now as a scav. The raiders are friendly to you. The PMCs obviously aren't. But you're geared like a raider would be. You'd maybe go in with like an AK-103 with a Valde, and maybe you have like a Gen 4 and a ULAC and Swordens or whatever else. And you get to do that for one raid. I think that'd be pretty sweet. As a reward for, not killing other player scavs. Then you're kind of reducing the scav on scav violence, more cooperative gameplay, leading to everybody making more money. Because every time you fight a player scav in this game, it goes one of two ways, right? You one-tap the other player scav, he's pissed off, he kind of shakes it off after a minute, like, oh, whatever, I'll go do my PMC run now. Or it ends with you two guys exchanging shots, one of you dies, but the other one is fucked beyond repair. You have no painkillers, you're bleeding out of your 7 newly formed assholes, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's not enough meds for you around the place. And then you just disconnect and that's it. So that'd be kind of nice. Let's see, what else we got here? Oh yeah, lighting on Interchange overhaul. Fix it! Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it! Lighting on Interchange is fucking trash. Fix it, it's too dark. Please, fix this. That'd be really nice. It's my favorite map. Fix it. Thank you. A potential UI overhaul for the menus and shops? That could be pretty cool. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the menu system and stuff is getting kind of stale. Maybe even a new overlay kind of thing for the stash could be kind of nice. I just kind of thought of that off the top of my head. I said I'd throw it in. Maybe somewhere down along the line they could change this and kind of, I don't know, make it a bit easier to navigate for newer players and just kind of beautify it, vajazzle it, and just make it a bit prettier. That'd be pretty cool. Changing of quests plus rewards. So as we all know, everybody was super pissed off about the quests this patch. Yes, they were made more annoying. Did they necessarily take longer to complete? Not really. For most players. The quest changes this patch, for me personally, I will just do it and just get it out of the way. I know a lot of people had an issue with a lot of them. For me personally, I didn't really care. I also didn't really feel super engaged by a lot of them. I found some of them kind of boring. There's a lot that could be done there to make them a bit more fun, a little bit more, a little bit more immersing. And as for the rewards for a lot of them are pretty trash. This ties into my next point as well, where we're going to talk about soft skill reworks. I would really, really like to see them add in soft skill experience as a reward for quests. This would be really, really nice. Personally, I would take soft skill experience, even if it was an option. You get to choose this reward or this reward. I would choose soft skill experience over everything else. Because soft skills are really, really strong. But they've also been made very, very hard to level up efficiently without going out of your way doing stupid methods to level them up. Shouldn't be like that. The way soft skills should work in this game is like from levels 1 to 10, you can get this much XP in these soft skills, and you can get, let's just say you'll usually have those skills maxed out by the time you hit level 10. So now you have, let's say, level 10 endurance, level 7 strength. You've got level 5 in recoil control. You've got, level X, Y, and Z and other skills, your health skill, your whatever, right? But then once you hit level 10, you've unlocked the next set of levels that you can get for these soft skills that were previously locked until you hit that level requirement. That would make it so that all the people that get up to level 60 or whatever, you can level your skills higher than everybody else can as a reward for grinding the game so much and putting all of this time and effort into it. That should be your reward. Better soft skills than everybody else. I would also really like to see them try this in 0.12. There's going to be wipes. I would like to see them just let people carry over their soft skills, because as it stands, we don't ever really get to max level soft skills anymore. And by allowing the soft skills to stay there, we could have them all the way through the wipe, or past the wipe even, and then we'll be able to test out, the higher tier perks or whatever and see what they're like. But a lot of people are never going to be able to experience that unless you played, I don't know, like 2+ years ago, back when they were actually achievable without fucking jumping outside the map with, 700 thick items cases rammed up your prison wallet, to make yourself overweight, whilst, glitching through the map. So yeah, that'd be nice to see. I'd like to see the soft skill system get reworked, and I would like to see soft skill XP be given for the quests. As for the quest system, obviously more rebalances need to be made there. The level up process is still way too quick. We're getting way too much XP, and I would just like to see things be changed. What necessarily? I'm not entirely sure. I feel like a couple of the tasks were pretty good, but a lot of them they just made really annoying and really tedious for basically no reason, just to make it take longer for some people to get it done. Where people like myself and other people who stream the game, we're going to see that and go, oh, well, that's a pain in the balls. It's maybe going to take me an extra half an hour, but yeah, I guess I'll do it, and then we'll blitz past it pretty quickly. It's not that hard. It's more annoying. I'd rather not see tasks just be annoying for the sake of being annoying. It's almost like artificial difficulty in games, to where it's like, oh yeah, you can play this game on expert or you can play it on normal. Well, what's the difference? Well, on expert, it's going to take 700 fucking bullets every time you want to kill a basic enemy. You also get no healing items ever, and you're not allowed to level up or something. It's like, so you're telling me about like this arbitrary thing that I have to have on my head should make any fucking difference as to whether, me killing these 20 scavs is going to count or not. And then you have the flea market as well. People are collecting those hats and selling them for like 300-400k at the flea market day one. It's just like, just stop. It makes no sense. Please just get rid of the mindless tasks, because they're stupid and no one cares. It makes no sense. And if anything, it's just breaking immersion and it's pissing people off. Stop. Just change it back. It's fine. Okay. Also, this is going to be one of my last points, but the dynamic flea market, I think there was talk recently of them reintroducing it again this patch. Don't. If you're going to start the dynamic flea market, you have to do it from the start of a patch. You can't do it midway through a patch when there's already a massive portion of the player base that will have like a monopoly over a certain amount of items, or have so much more money than everybody else that they're able to just manipulate the shit out of the market and make a fortune. Meanwhile, fucking Timmy Two Tits over here, level 3, just started playing the game the other day. He can't buy anything off the flea market now because everything is fucking 300 times the price it should be. if you're going to add the dynamic flea market to where the prices on the flea market are going to affect the traders and vice versa or whatever, like, you are just going to create an economic disaster that nobody gives a shit about. Everybody went apeshit over it last time you did it. Please don't do it during this wipe. Do it at the start of a fresh wipe, because all of the data that you're going to get from the dynamic flea market, you say you're doing it for data collection purposes, it's all going to be fucking pointless. It is not going to be of any use to anybody. You need to do it from the start of a wipe. If you do it from the start of a wipe, people are going to worry more about their trader reputation being tanked by shit not being bought for the extortionate price you have it up for. So therefore, you're going to lose your slots on the flea market, and you're going to lose money for posting the item. And nobody wants that. If that is in there from the start, people won't be such knobs about it. And it will actually probably work out. I'd say give it a couple of weeks and everything will even out and everything will work probably as intended. But you have to do it from the start of a wipe. That's all I'm going to say on that. My last point is as well, I'd love to see custom servers at some point down the line. I know this is incredibly unlikely considering they don't even want to give us like offline co-op. So fingers crossed somewhere down the line. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, if they had an option to where you could rent a Tarkov server like monthly and it costs $150 or whatever, fucking like that. Fucking like that, dude. I would do it. Because you'd be able to run your own server, you'd be able to pick the map, you'd be able to invite your friends, you'd be able to have teams spawning on either side of the map. So let's just say for content creators, you'd be able to spectate. It'd be pretty cool. You'd also be able to play in those games. So as long as nobody's stream sniping or whatever, you can have a really cool raid on your own server. You can turn off the scavs, you can turn on the scavs, you can turn on raiders, you can turn off raiders. You could change all kinds of crap. You could change the weather, you could change daytime, nighttime, and not tell people what's going to happen or whatever. Like, it'd just be a lot of fun. I think a lot of people would have a shitload of fun with custom servers, and it would open up like a whole new market for like content creation. And I know I'm speaking selfishly here. It's like, oh yeah, but you're a streamer. You just want for shit so you can do shit as a streamer. I'll never use this. It's like, but please, okay, just for 1 second, right? You let the streamers, you let us have this. We make content on it, and guess what happens? People who don't play the game, they watch the content, they go, oh, that's really cool. Maybe I want to play that. It's free advertising. It's what built this game, is the advertising of all the streamers and content creators. It's really important. If it wasn't for that, this game would be dead. I'm just saying. Maybe not dead, but it would be a lot more dead than it is now. So shut the fuck up. Okay. All right, there you go. So that is some of the shit that I would like to see in point 12 and beyond. If I missed anything that was really obvious that I shouldn't have, leave a comment down below. I'm sure I have missed stuff that I want to see in the game, but these were just some of the main points that kind of came to me, so I'm just making a little video on it, okay? So lads, if you liked the points I made, leave a like. If you didn't like them, let me know why. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, share it around to your buddies. Share it in your Discord. That'd be pretty cool. You know, give it a tweet, give it a retweet. That'd be pretty sick. I would appreciate it. And lads, I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.